Jayasuriya, the founder and CEO of Women Empowered Global and 1 Million Women in Power, as well as the managing director of an innovation coaching company, Diverse, where we run innovation strengths assessments and hybrid leadership programs. I'm also happy to say that I'm a part of the KeyNote Speaker Directory of 100+ women speakers, and our speakers are leaders in the fields of their work. They're subject matter experts and ever inspiring. KeyNote, what I love about their mission is that by all means, they intend to make the stage and panels gender neutral. As you know, it's a very vital area. KeyNote believes in diversity, inclusion, and equity. And why are we here today? Today, we are going to be talking about coaching for a wholesome life, the value of coaching and its impact on your life, your career, and your success. And to elaborate on this, joining me today on our episode together is my fellow thought leader and KeyNote sister, Ruchi. Ruchi, over to you.
Thank you, Senela. So happy to be here and in conversation with you. Thank you for that amazing introduction to KeyNote, and so nice to hear such amazing stuff about yourself too. My name is Ruchi Parekh, and I am also a KeyNote speaker, a part of the KeyNote Asia's directory. A bit about myself: I'm a professional certified coach, a PCC, under the banner of the International Coaching Federation. I work with high potential professionals to build emotional resilience and have a positive mindset to get them to the next step and level in their lives professionally and personally. My main aim is to help individuals and clients move forward, find fulfillment and success in all the roles they play. I work with professionals from diverse industries, including financial services, legal, media, medical, and human resources. My coaching style is result-oriented. I'm excited to share that I'm a part of Asian Money Guide's 50 Power Women of Asia. I have been on the radio a couple of times and looking forward to some video interviews. This one's an exciting one for me here. So let's get this started, Senela.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that, we are in this space of coaching, and I love that introduction. So, Ruchi, today we're talking about coaching, diving more deep into the well-being aspect of coaching. And, there are different types of coaching. You get executive coaching, you have life coaching, you have career coaching. So for those of, you connecting as an audience, listening in and thinking, oh, well, wait, hang on, there are different types. What's that about? To give more context, what I personally love about coaching is that I get to coach aspiring leaders around the world and get to see, as a coach, parallels as well as the contrast in their mindsets, their attitude towards life, the power of, how they come out when I really help them to unlock and tap into that vulnerability. And, example, if you're in corporate, I have coached Fortune 500 executives on their development areas, required for them to enhance their capability to perform into a bigger leadership role. And then on the other hand, I also had a US client who's a supply chain professional. She came to me for leadership and communication coaching because she knew she wanted to make that career leap from being a specialist outsourced in her area to being now a CEO of running her own consultancy. So you can see that coaching is a very powerful dynamic to help you with clarity, with understanding your blind spots and bringing out that potential to help you get unstuck and get energized for more rewarding and beneficial results. So I want to go more into this. Ruchi, what are your thoughts around this?
Thank you for sharing that amazing insight and about your clients. So coaching, Senela, whether executive, life, career coaching, in any form is a collaborative process between the coach and the client, where the coach supports the client's enhancement of work, life experience, personal, professional growth. This partnership between the coach and the client is what supports the achievement of the client's goals. When as a coach we don't go in as experts. We go into a coaching session believing that our client is the one who has all the answers, full of resources, and is the one who is the expert in their own field. So the difference between executive life and career is basically depending on the client's needs. When a client wants to make big changes in their internal insights, in their personal lives, it's referred to as life coaching. When they want results at their workplace, when they want better, they want to get promoted, they want to move jobs, they want change industries, that's executive coaching or / career coaching. We see our clients as the ones having the right answers. And it's so interesting to note that it is such a beautiful collaboration where while the client is learning and growing, I believe in my journey, I've been so much that it has been the most fulfilling journey I've walked on. So yes, that's what I believe coaching stands for.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And that's something I also strongly believe in. The power of the answers in the coaching. We just facilitate that. And it's about coming together to co-create that. I love that. So moving along, as ambitious professionals, we get, people who come to us, they say they get so caught up in the daily grind, right? Especially today with what's happening. We're talking about the new normal. We're talking about the importance and power of resiliency. And we might feel that, they might feel that life is passing us by too quickly. Ruchi, the life of me, I can't even believe like June is around the corner in like a week. Can you believe it?
I know, half of 22 is almost done.
What? Right, where did it go? So we might even have everything, but might still feel like something is missing. And I've seen this in a lot of the clients come to me, that sense of void, that sense of direction, that inner clarity. So in times like this, I do have my methodology that I sort of take them through to sort of bring them out of their shell, to tackle their vulnerability, because we know that's a huge issue. I'm also curious to hear from you. What do you suggest, in such situations?
So it's so true. This pandemic, whether people like to believe it or not, has affected every individual at some level or not. I've even heard clients saying that I don't know what happened in the last 2 years. It was such a blur. People are yet, the new normal. I'm not too fond of that word, but it is a new normal. We are now readjusting to life again, because most of the countries, not all sadly, most of the countries are trying to come out of the pandemic, treating it like an endemic. And it's made people question their lives, question their purpose in lives. So coaching for me is when I work with professionals, I help them define what having it all means for them as compared to what the world or society has told them. Because it's this very difficult race that people are on, that I need to catch up, I need to have it all. But what is having it all? Your definition of having it all cannot be dependent on your world's definition or the environment or the people's definition. And when we define what, when my clients and me work together and understanding what their individual definition of having it all, having a great, I don't like to use the word perfect life, but great, good life, we help them realign their inner compass and take positive steps towards achieving that. So that's primarily what I do and work with my clients, because they may be in a great place professionally, up there, up that corporate ladder, but in that journey, playing those various roles, they feel lost, they feel low on confidence, they feel stuck. And that's what I do. I work with them to feel unstuck, to find themselves, and get back that little semblance of control that they feel they've lost. I'm curious to know, Senela, you coach emerging leaders worldwide and you build personal brands. How do you help people discover their own power and empower them to power up their teams? I'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Even to your previous point, I just wanted to also echo that social conditioning I've observed, is a huge nuance and a huge factor, that could keep somebody back, or if once they overcome that through the coaching process, they really tap into that potential. So I love that share, Ruchi. So as to your question, thank you for asking. So I'm a leadership expert with a background in brand development and innovation. I love innovation. I myself am a byproduct of innovation. I upgraded myself from Senela 1.0 to the 2.0 or 10.0 version you see today. The Senela when I started was just absolutely timid, and fast forward to where I am today, it really was that process of creating my future by owning it. So having worked in a Fortune 100 company myself, I know how challenging it could feel to stand out in a big work environment, in an industry, in the marketplace. And fast forward to where I am today, I also know what it takes to stand out as an entrepreneur, as a global CEO, running global companies. And it's not easy. It takes consistent showing up on the daily. So now it's also interesting. I want to put in these narratives. It's one thing to say, I want to stand out and establish my mark or imprint as someone credible, someone assertive, and someone influential. And then it's also an interestingly different thing to do this in a male-dominated industry. And I have direct experience in both these scenarios. And if you read the magazine interview that I recently did in the Formidable Women magazine in US, I talk a lot about my journey and how I had to literally, like I said, to reinvent myself to be the person, human being I am today. The sensitivity to the market changes, my sensitivity to adapt, to grow, and keep growing. Like success is a moving target. So today I teach aspiring directors and emerging leaders and CEOs how to create that magnetic personal brand as a leader. And particularly, I found out, this would resonate very highly even with people who are working in highly niche specialized fields. Or if you're a startup founder and you're still in a stage one business, or you're growing your business in speciality, personal branding becomes so much more a distinction for you to stand out. So I have a formula and a framework that I help these aspiring directors and leaders with, who come to me with not just to stand out, but also to do it in an authentic, credible way with confidence, great communication, and strong leadership presence, and how to manifest that credible leadership persona when you deal with different cultures. I think that's a very important insight we need to put in there. How can I navigate in turbulent times, shape-shifting in my leadership characteristics, factoring in the different cultures and the different personality types out there? I think that is so significant. So that really is my focus point. Ruchi.
Amazing. That is amazing. Such amazing, brilliant work you're doing for the leaders of today. And I'm sure they appreciate and grateful to you for taking them where they are now.
Thank you, Ruchi. Ruchi, I'm curious to learn more about, the wonderful work you're doing as well. Particularly us women might feel lost juggling the various roles we play, right? Leaving no time for ourselves. So sometimes maybe even wonder whether we've hit that glass ceiling at work. So I know that you've done some amazing work with your 8-step confidence booster series. Would you like to tell us more about that?
So my work revolves around confidence. I work with ambitious professionals, leaders, C-suite executives to, like I shared earlier, they are at a great place in their professional life, but walking that path, climbing that corporate ladder, they feel lost. They feel like they've lost themselves. They've lost a part of that confidence that they had, or probably never had, but just hustled their way through. So when they come to me, they're usually looking for some kind of, I wouldn't say formula, but some kind of way to own that life back, feel that confidence. And control is an illusion, but get some semblance of control in their life so they can run it based on how they would like to. That's when I decided to create this small, I call it the 8-step confidence booster, which I work with, in groups or in with my individual clients as well. And it's just an 8-step. I won't share the whole thing with you, but just a few pointers. When you feel like your self-confidence, self-esteem is dipping, what are the first few things you should do? Well, to begin the process of gaining self-confidence, you first need to know and understand what confidence means to you. What is that element of confidence? Once you know it, visualization is the step one. It is the most powerful tool, probably after journaling, but the most powerful tool in neuroscience. I'm also an NLP practitioner. So in NLP and neuroscience, we use visualization a lot to help rewire our mind maps to achieve any goals we desire. So when you struggle with confidence and you have a poor perception of yourself, it's that poor perception is very often inaccurate. On the other hand, when you start visualizing yourself as this confident, amazing soul, and visualize yourself as the best version of yourself, it is that one of the first few steps in starting that journey to get back your confidence. Another thing that's amazing, and there are two camps on it: fake it till you make it. There are always people who believe in this aspect, and those who said, I can't fake it, it doesn't work for me. I was so excited to read, Sheryl Sandberg's book, Lean In. Have you read it, Senela? So she speaks a lot about fake it till you make it. And I really followed that for myself. Believe it or not, I was a girl who was zero in confidence. 15 years ago, everyone who knew me could not believe me today. And I use my tools and techniques that I used on myself. Faking it till you make it is one of the things I practiced a lot. Easy way of doing it is think of someone who's a very confident person in your life. Think of that person. And when you feel stuck, ask yourself, what would this person do? Imitate that person. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong in trying to be somebody that you are not, if it's going to help you achieve your goals. Another very important thing that people tend to neglect is appearance. Taking care of your physical appearance as well as your mental health really adds in that boost of self-confidence. If you're not looking good, you don't feel good, you can't feel confident. So take time and effort. It does not make you superficial. It just shows you taking care of yourself. Self-care, the buzzword these days, is actually a thing that is so important. And finally, let me share one more thing. Another thing that helps give a boost of confidence is helping others. This one works for me. When you are able to help another human being, help another individual, an organization, anybody do something and help them achieve something, it makes you realize that you are capable. It helps you remind yourself that if I could make a difference in somebody else's life, what's coming in my own way? So just a few of these pointers, which are part of my 8-step confidence booster, to help you gain that confidence back. And if, the audience listening, if even one thing you can begin on today, it would make such a big difference in your life. I can assure you that, because I've come from a place of absolutely no confidence to someone sitting here speaking in front of you. Senela, you have done such great work in empowering women. I would love to hear your thoughts on this as well.
I absolutely love and resonate with what you shared. And it's interesting to me that on this episode, you and I have similar parallels in our genesis, because if there was a minus digit to confidence, that's where it was for me as well. So, I recently launched an initiative, as you know, Women Empowered Global, which I founded. It has a network reaching over 40 countries worldwide across 6 continents. And we empower women around the world through professional development, through entrepreneurial programs and career advancement. We work with award-winning leaders globally and allies. Now, coming into a more recent specific initiative we embarked on under this umbrella is 1 million women empowered. So when you ask me about specifically the work that we're doing to develop strong female brands, I'm so passionate about this, because this is a leadership initiative, 1 million women empowered, Ruchi, where the mission is to empower 1 million women for leadership globally, whether they're in corporate, whether they're in business, or whether they're in STEM. So we have weekly forums for that, connecting women, leaders from deep AI tech to data science to multi-million-dollar businesses. So it's really fantastic to create that platform out there a platform which I wish only I had, growing up and developing myself in my career, because I didn't have mentors. I didn't have conscious mentors. It was quite invisible, my own growth. So I realized to fill that vacuum in the marketplace, to have that forum, connecting aspiring leaders with leaders who have already achieved the empowered ones, and how can we facilitate that? So what I do around the world is really, in essence, all about building strong female brands, helping them increase their confidence. And I did a global survey recently by my company, and we realized one of the key functions that would really determine a woman thriving towards leadership and climbing the ranks is really about confidence, because you see the pipeline of female leaders disappear when it comes to the mid-tier. So that is really what I'm about. And I recently did a keynote for a Fortune 500 company where it was on imposter syndrome. And as I sit here, talk about this, Ruchi, it's not to say that I'm exempted from this. Oh no, I face these things as well. I go through these things. I'm a mom, I'm multitasking, I'm running global businesses. Economic forces are not always on our favor, but we need to get stuff done. We need to show up. So imposter syndrome can kick in for anyone, regardless of what level or stage in your career you are in. You could be a leader. You could already be in C-level and executive. I've been in C-level for 10 years now. And I could tell you, don't kick yourself in the butt if you still feel this. The idea is awareness. Check it, do something about it. That's what it's about. Because so this Fortune 500 client wanted to engage me to help them inspire their women to apply for senior leadership roles. And I had some amazing feedback as a success story from some tier 2 female leaders who wrote back to me saying, hey, Senela, after hearing your keynote, I decided to take that first step. I made that decision. And a lot of the times, Ruchi, it's about taking that first step. It's about coming to that decision, that internal consensus with myself, feeling aligned and saying, you know what, I am going to do it. Even if I'm uncertain about the guarantees, even if I feel like there's no guarantee, that's what courage is about. It's about taking that first step into that bigger leadership role, because they realized the distance that's stopping them between where they are now and where they ought to be, what they deserve, that reward, that yield, that intrinsic growth, is that confidence and courage. So that's what I'm all about. And it's such a sense of fulfillment that I get to work with women from different cultures.
Beautiful. That is so, so amazing. And I'm getting inspired just listening to Senela. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Ruchi. You inspire me too. I want to talk more about negativity bias, Ruchi. Would you like to throw some light on this? Because there was a recent survey that said, it was a global survey, I think it was BBC, that 90% of bias against women, right? Not only from men, but also coming from women. Ruchi, could you share some light on this about negativity bias, as it were?
Yes, but the negativity bias is a bit different from this survey about bias against women. Negativity bias per se is a phenomenon in which humans give more psychological weightage to bad experiences rather than good ones. Subsequently, you think about those bad experiences for longer periods of time, and they weigh heavily on us. So now let me tell you a bit about how this all happened. We developed, a negativity bias, that is, we evolved to notice and respond more forcibly to negativity since it helped our ancestors stay alive. That's the time from when it started. Thousands of years ago, it was more important to escape negative situations rather than it was for approaching an opportunity. After all, being killed by a tiger was final, while missing out on food for that day was not. So by assuming the worst from the rustling in the bush, our ancestors were constantly wired to look out for that tiger. They had to ensure their survival so they could pass on their genes. They could eat the berries on another day. Now, in our modern world, we continue to have this negativity bias, even though it's not necessary. But our brains have just continued to be wired like that. We are always on the lookout for the tiger around the corner, even though there isn't any. And having said that, our brains focus more on the negative rather than positive aspects of life. That is why if you look back from your childhood, you will have rather clear memories of the things that went wrong, the traumatizing episodes, the bad stuff you will remember longer and easier than the good stuff. And, we have to make sure we keep this negativity bias in check. Having awareness about it is the first step. Because if left unchecked, it can cause a serious impediment to our happiness and quality of life. I think we're running short on time, so I'm going to end on the negativity bias at this spot. But just to let it out there, that ensure that you are not only focusing on all the bad stuff. Look out on purpose for the good stuff. Ensure that you take time, wait longer when something good happens. That's why things like gratitude journaling and positive thinking are so encouraged. Over to you, Senela.
I love that, Ruchi. Thank you for bringing us to a wonderful power close today on this episode. So all of you who connected today on the episode, you heard from Ruchi and myself. We've talked about well-being. We've talked about the importance and value. We've talked about confidence. We've talked about courage. Now, end of the day, and you've just heard Ruchi talk about negative bias. Now, listen, end of the day, as coaches, we're going to tell you with all our heart and soul, there is power in taking this inspiration and about it. Transformation is taking action. You know why? Clock is ticking, friends, and inaction is not going to take you anywhere. So with that, I just want to remind you, check your attitude, check your resilience, take what we've shared with you today. And, like Ruchi said, if there's even one thing that has inspired you today, do something about it. And with that, we wish you all the best and stay tuned for the next episodes. Bye for now.
Thank you so much. And just want to remind you guys, if you're ever on the lookout for some speakers, some amazing, inspiring, motivational speakers and all kinds, we have an amazing directory of keynote speakers right here for you. So if you ever need one, Keynote's the place to be. It has been a pleasure being here, having a chat with you, Senela. So let's end this for today. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching in.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.